Welcome back to Toni Told Me, your cozy corner of the internet for the real talk and real tea. If you are watching this from YouTube, please make sure you subscribe. If you are listening to this on your favorite audio platform, please subscribe. Let us know what you think about the pod on social media as well. You can follow us at Toni Told Me Pod via Instagram and TikTok. I'm super excited for today's episode because it's all about a topic that I hold very dear to my heart, which is long distance relationships. In the past, I've talked about my relationship, and this time I was like, yeah, I kind of don't want to do that. I want to speak to someone else who has done long distance and done it successfully, might I add. So I have a guest with me today. Today's guest, I have known on social media for a few years. It's one of these situations where, you know, when you're like online friends with someone, but you haven't actually had like a real life sit down or anything. And I really wanted to get this woman on the pod because I think she's amazing, period. So talented. She doesn't gas herself up enough. An amazing writer. She's a mother. She's a wife. 3 kids. Oof. You've been married now for what, 8 years?
Almost.
Yeah. So my guest today is Aurélie. I'm gonna massacre her name because obviously my French is rubbish. So I say Aurélie, but she says
Aurélie.
Aurélie. How sexy is that, Aurélie? Aurélie, thank you so much for coming onto the pod. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Honestly, this is such an honor. Thank you.
Thank you for agreeing. I know this is going to be a good episode because, like I said to people listening, you've been married coming up 8 years. You've been with your partner for roughly 11, but for the first 2 years, you guys were long distance.
We were.
And long distance from where and where?
From London to Dallas.
London to Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
What a time.
Yeah. And that's partially like how we kind of got speaking because your husband, Dami, is very active online. And one thing I do love about Dami is that Dami gives people their flowers. Like if he loves people's content, if he thinks someone's interesting, he doesn't shy away from saying, wow, I really love what you guys are doing. And Dami and Taiwo, I think they got speaking as a result of obviously Taiwo and I being long distance from London to Texas. You guys having done that London to Texas and being like, me and my wife, we were long distance and now we're married, everything worked out, you guys have got this. And hearing like your journey and your story was really, really lovely. And you guys are both lovely people. And I'm glad to be able to speak about long distance from someone else's perspective.
I'm here to give it.
So do you want to give some background about you outside of what I've already said?
Oh my goodness. There's not much else to say actually. That's what I am. I'm Aurélie. I am a wife, a mother. I'm a writer. I've been writing for as long as I can remember, really. My mum has stories of me falling asleep and she'll come into my room and there's like books and papers and things all around me where I've just been writing. And that's all I've been pursuing, really. Tried other things, but I've always just come back to storytelling. And so that's where I am now, just speaking more about the sort of middle that I've experienced going from things like being long distance, becoming a mom, and just that sweet spot in between where I'm trying to figure out who I am outside of all of these other things. And so I'm here telling that story, really. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that you're focusing more on yourself now as well. Especially, like, how old are your kids?
Oh, almost 7, almost 5, and almost 9 months.
7, 5, 9 months. And we're not far in age. How old are you?
I'm 30. I'm going to be 34.
34. Okay, yeah, because I'm 35. So I could barely take care of myself. You got all them kids, girl.
All them kids.
It's amazing. No, but it's amazing though for you to be able to do all that on top of like you focusing on yourself and saying, you know what, I'm trying to have my own voice, do my own thing. And yes, I'm a wife and I'm a mother, but I'm also like, Aurélie, I'm trying to, do me. And I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad I could be part of that journey.
I'm excited. I'm so happy to be here.
What have you been up to outside of mummy life and wife life?
Oh, outside of that, I'm actually trying to become a content creator, girl.
Oh, I love that for you.
I'm just focusing on what it looks like
Yeah.
for me to be myself
Yeah.
at this stage of my life. Having done the marriage, raising the children, there's just been a sense of, I don't know who I am. And so this season has been, okay, let's define that. Or let's redefine what it means to be you. What is it that you like? What don't you like? How do you want to move forward? What do you want to be known for? And so a lot of it has just been a lot of deep inner work. And so that is also manifesting in what I write, what I post, and just encouraging other women to do the same.
I think your life is a testament to the fact that life actually has no order. Because where you've done the wife thing, you've done the mum thing, and now you're trying to be a content creator. You're like, okay, let me work on like the career thing. Yeah. And I think people often believe that it has to be in a certain order. A lot of people, they do the career, then they do the wife, then they do the kid. But it's never too late to like redefine yourself, basically, and reinvent yourself.
It's not. And I did have that order before. I always thought I would pursue my career. I wanted to have a publishing company one day. Yeah. I thought marriage would come, but maybe a bit later on. Kids, definitely even later. But God just flipped that on its head, and it was it
when
was the marriage
Jesus says yes, nobody can say no.
Literally, it's been that, and I struggled with that. If I'm being very honest, I struggled with the sort of the reverse of what I thought my life was going to be. I didn't think that I would be in my mid-30s trying to do something new, because I always thought I knew I wanted to be a writer. I knew I wanted to publish books. Then I was a mum, and then I was a wife, and I was a mum. And it's like, what do I do with this? Like, how do I navigate this time? And it's taken a lot of figuring out, but it's been great. It really has.
I'm glad you're enjoying the journey.
I am. Yeah. I'm finally at a place where I'm enjoying the journey.
And this is just the start.
Amen.
As far as what I've been up to, my life has been very boring. Not as interesting as like redefining and reinventing, but I do have like a new addition in the family.
Yes.
So yeah, I have a niece. Her name is Tari.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And she's so cute. She looks like a little dolly. She's so precious. And her name is like an amalgamation of like several different people. So my sister's called Tara. I'm obviously called Toni. And my sister-in-law is called Marie. And her name is like a mix of Tara and Toni. Yeah. And then her name is Tari Marie. And then she's got Marie, which is so cute. But then I was considering the fact that I'm Toni, my brother's Tommy, my sister's Tara, my nephew's TJ, my niece is Tari, my partner's Taiwo. That's a lot of T's.
I love that though.
I
That's
feel
a
like
lot of T's.
Taiwo and I have to name our kids T names.
You have to.
You have to continue it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this like T supremacy in the family it cannot die out. It needs to continue. But
and your kids have to continue that.
Totally. And I'm going to say to my sister, you better find a man to begin with a T. Just
no pressure.
No pressure. I know that obviously you're familiar with the pod, but for those who aren't familiar with the pod, we always start with dilemmas. So we've got tea time with Toni, where like producer Anisha throws 2 dilemmas our way, and it's our job to answer them. So I hope you're ready.
Let's see what we can do.
Producer Anisha, can you please hit us with the first dilemma?
So this one says, "Hi Toni, I love your podcast. It's so insightful and has helped me in so many ways. I'm 19 and currently in my first relationship, which is also long distance. He's honestly amazing, kind, thoughtful, and almost everything I've ever wanted. But lately, we've been arguing a lot. Sometimes I say things that unintentionally make him question my loyalty, and I think a lot of it comes down to miscommunication. Still, it's gotten to a point where he started to doubt my character, and that really hurts. I truly care about him and don't want to lose this relationship, but I feel like I keep messing up. Since I'm new to all of this, I'd really appreciate any advice."
How old are you when you and Dami
met? When we started dating, we were 22, 23.
Okay.
Yeah. So 19 and long distance.
It's not easy. Wow. So she's saying that like she feels like she is unintentionally making him question her loyalty.
Yeah.
It sounds like she might be doing things out of potentially like anxious attachment.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because I know that like long distance, I mean, we can speak from experience. you have to be super resilient.
Yeah.
And there has to be a lot of trust there.
You can't afford not to trust your partner. You really can't. It's the basis of the relationship.
I think that like if she's in a position where she finds herself saying things that make him doubt her, it could be because, not to psychoanalyze her or anything, but when I've done that, it's been because I want attention. And when I've done that at that age in particular, it's like I will say things and I'm kind of unknowingly seeking a triggering response because I need reassurance that you still care, that you're still invested in this. Yeah. Especially if the distance makes me worried that you're not. Because with distance, you sometimes have doubt, don't you?
You do, yeah.
Like questioning the other person, like, are they in this? Are they loyal? Do they still love me?
Yeah.
Especially when like it's a woman in a relationship with a man, because we're often told that like men are very much like physical touch people, physical intimacy people. And when you can't have that in a relationship, you start thinking, what if he's this? What if he's that? What if he's cheating? Yeah. And it might be that she's doing it to test whether he is invested. And when she finds out, oh, he does care, she's like, shit, now
I've tested him. And,
like,
goodness.
What kind of advice would you give her to cope with that feeling of like potentially sabotaging the relationship? Because she says he's a good guy. She doesn't want to lose him.
Yeah. I mean, if he's worth your trust, then you trust him. I think it's very important at every stage to have that communication line open. Yeah. Because I know for myself, I never had an issue with trust with Dami. But there were times where because he would be so busy with work, and I'm trying to message him and maybe he's not responding as quickly as I've been used to him responding. Yeah. I'll send a message like, why haven't you replied to me? And he's just like, babe, I've been working. Like, and it's like just being able to express that, you know, I want to be able to reach you, but I can't, you know, like just keeping that communication line open. But I can't stress enough how important it is to be able to know his character. And if you believe that he is somebody worthy of your trust, when certain things rise up in you kind of have to make an excuse.
Yeah.
If he's worth you making an excuse.
So I was going to ask you that actually, because you said that like you trusted Dami. So I was going to ask you, okay, if you were long distance, why did you trust him? But you're saying that his character was so good that you had to tell yourself, you know what, I've seen that this man's character is good, so I have to trust him. I have to encourage myself to trust him. And in your moments of worry, that was your excuse that, you know what, this guy has good character.
Because he's always been a man of his word.
I love that.
That was one thing I can always count. Well, because our long distance begun with us being together. We spent about a year and some change physically together. We spent a lot of time together. You won't find anybody on this earth who doesn't have something good to say about Dami. Yeah. Just him as a person. Yeah. He's just a really great guy. And we had this great friendship. Yeah. And I think that's also very important. The friendship that we established in the time that we were physically together meant that I could vouch for him if he says that he's working and he's doing this, and like he meant that, and he was where he said he was and doing what he said he was doing. And so for me, that trust was about, well, I've seen him in his element. I know the work that he does, and he is also he's also ADHD, right? Okay. He has ADHD, and so when it comes to how many things he can do at once, it's very hard. It's very hard for him to multitask. Yeah. And so just kind of knowing these things about him, it made it easy for me to be like, we're good.
I love how you're like, he also has ADHD, so he can only cope with one woman at a goddamn time.
There's also that. Literally, there is also that. And he's an Arsenal fan. So,
he's an Arsenal fan.
Like, they are loyal to a T. I mean, can you imagine being an Arsenal fan? My goodness. I'm always like, if you're going to look for a guy, look for an Arsenal fan. Like, they are loyal to a T.
I love that nugget. You heard it here first,
Like,
ladies.
that's-
If you're in search of a man,
Go for an Arsenal
Go
fan.
for an Arsenal-
Think about what
Arsenal
they've
fan.
been through as a team. My goodness me.
why does that logic make so much sense to me right now?
It's just I deeped it and was like, yeah, that's what it is. Get you an Arsenal fan. You'll be good.
So I love that advice. It's basically observe the man,
Mm-hmm.
note down his character, and trust him unless he gives you a reason not to.
Exactly.
Which makes a lot of sense because I think in long distance relationships, people do the opposite. They're very distrusting and they feel like you have to prove your way out of that, prove that I can trust you. But no, Aurélie saying, if he's a good man, you know he's a good man. You said he's a good man, trust him.
Yeah.
Trust him. And unless he gives you a reason not to trust him, keep trusting him. Otherwise, you're going to lose him. And I agree. You've got a second dilemma for us, Anisha.
I do indeed. It says, "Hey Tony, sending this is a bit nerve-wracking. I love your podcast and what you stand for.
Thank you.
I've been seeing this guy, he's 30 and I'm 25. And whilst he's amazing, he treats me well, I'm starting to have doubts. I'm naturally playful and outgoing, but he has a lot of past relationship trauma, especially around cheating. Recently, he got upset about how often I mention my male colleague, even though I'm just talking about my day. It escalated and I said something like, why is it always your way? Partly because he has also dismissed plans I made involving my friends. He was really hurt, so I put my own feelings aside to support him. But I'm worried that constantly suppressing how I feel to avoid his reactions isn't healthy. I care about him a lot, but I'm starting to question if this relationship is really right for me. I think I need advice.
Unfortunately, it does sound like she's dimming herself to accommodate this relationship and accommodate, like, obviously the traumas that he's carrying. And sometimes we can think like, oh, dimming ourselves has to be this like grand thing. Like, oh, it means we're dressing different, we're talking different, we're doing something completely different. No, it could be as simple as like someone not allowing you to talk about your day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's the impression I'm getting. Like, if in a situation like that, do you think it's worth trying to salvage the relationship? Do you think it's worth having a conversation with him about it?
Why should she have to pay for the traumas that he's experienced in past relationships, right? If she's not causing issues in the relationship, if she's honest about the relationship, that it's just a colleague, for example, right? Like, why? It just sounds like she's having to carry something that's not hers to have to carry. And if he has trust issues, then that's something that he has to work through.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. From the sounds of it, she is altering her personality and holding herself back in a way that seems like she's walking on eggshells. So like if you really like the guy and if you think that he's a great guy, then have the initial conversation. Say, look, I feel like I can't be myself around you. I want to talk to you about my day, but I see that sometimes you get jealous or sometimes you get worried. And I know that you have these past issues, but I feel like I'm holding back. Initially, you could see how he responds to that. It might be that he's not even self-aware and he's like, oh my God, sorry, I'm so sorry, let me work on this. But if you've already had that conversation, then you have to ask yourself if you can continue on like that. But you can't even talk to someone about your day because you mention Richard's name and he starts wilding out.
Not Richard.
He's rolling his eyes somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
you can't even say, oh yeah, I was talking to Richard in the kitchen during the meeting. He's like, Richard? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you should be able to tell your partner about your day. Like, every time you bring up, do you know what it reminds me of? You know when guys online, they do those skits about like, they'll tell their girl a story and she'll pick out the most irrelevant part. They'll be like, babe, I went out today and I was on London Bridge and then there was like a baboon that ran across the bridge and it jumped on this lady and it attacked her. And what was crazy is that like me and Susan ran to the bus and then there was a wizard and then she's like, wait, hold up.
Susan?
Yeah.
Susan?
The fuck is Susan?
Susan?
And you're like, bruh.
And also, why do you
amount of
care about the
time.
lady that's been attacked by the baboon?
Yeah, like, people died, and all you cared about is the woman I was with, my colleague at that. Like,
That is so me, though.
it reminds me of that. Like, I mean, I understand sometimes there's reasons for that, but if every time you relay your
Every
day,
time.
my guy's like, Richard. Yeah. So, like, I know, like, we're obviously like turning it into a joke, but the reality is, if you do feel like you are dulling yourself, or you are changing yourself, or you are just you're walking on eggshells in any type of way and you've approached the conversation and he hasn't changed, then it sounds like, he does have a lot that he has to work on because it's unfair to you if this continues. And it's kind of similar to our first dilemma, but flipped almost.
Yeah.
Like, it is unfair to the other person if they're trying to just engage with you and you are making that difficult for whatever reason because of something you're carrying and you're projecting that. It's unfair. So he needs to work on that. And if he's unable to work on that, then you need to ask yourself if you can continue on living like that. If you have a dilemma and you really want us to answer it on the pod, then email us Toni@ToniToldMePod.com or hit us up via Instagram DMs at ToniToldMePod. We don't accept TikTok DMs, just Instagram DMs. And if you want to engage in any conversation, feel free to use the hashtag too, which is hashtag Toni Told Me. Next, we are getting into the Sisterhood Spotlight, where we'll be talking about long distance relationships, also known as LDRs. Long distance relationships can be very hard, but myself and Aurélie are proof that they can work.
Yes.
I have been with my partner in Taiwan now for just over 3 years. Yeah. So we've been doing long distance for 3 years. And Aurélie, despite being in Dami's life for 11 years, they did long distance successfully for 2 years. So Aurélie, before we dive in, I want you to paint a picture for us. How did you and Dami meet? And what did the early days of your long distance look like?
Oh my goodness, how did we meet? So we've always known each other. We've always been around each other. We've had the same sort of friendship circles.
Okay.
There was always somebody who knew him and knew me. And then back then we were very much we would see each other at different youth events, gospel events, and Dami used to dance too. He was very much, he was in like a hip hop dance group thing. So they would come to our church as well and perform. And so we've always been around each other.
Yeah.
And so early days of long distance, we didn't even start off long distance.
Yeah, you said you started off together. Okay.
Right? We were together here in London. He's always wanted to move. He always wanted to move to the States. He always wanted to pursue his career out there. And so when all of this was going on at home, it just felt like it was the right time for him to make that move. And so I remember us having that conversation and me just asking him, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to go? Because if you do want to go, you have my blessing to do so. And that was November 2015. By January 2016, he had sold his stuff.
Wow.
Given some stuff away, packed a bag or two.
He doesn't mess about.
And he was out of it. He was he was on that flight to DFW and he said bye to London. And so it took a lot of adjusting. I think when you start off long distance and you're already in two separate places, it's different. When you've spent every day with this person and you see them as many times as you want to see them, when they are across the world, it's a shock to the system, right? And so it took a lot of adjusting. You're not only just adjusting to the other person being away, but there's the time difference.
Oh, so I was going to ask you, what was the biggest challenge in your opinion when it came to the LDR? Is that one of the biggest or the biggest for you?
The time difference, because I had to know that if I'm waking up at 6 a.m., he's asleep because it's midnight.
Oh yeah, 6 hours difference.
It's 6 hours difference, right? So it's midnight in Dallas, so he's asleep, right? As I'm going about my day, he's just waking up.
Yeah.
By the time we can really speak, I'm ready to go back to sleep because my day is almost done, right? So it took a lot of adjusting to those things, but we did it.
Because I was going to ask you, in that situation where he's in Texas, you're in the UK, how do you build trust? But you kind of had already established trust because you were both in the same country when he decided to go over to America. So the trust thing, I guess the trust thing you already had. So for people who are listening who are maybe embarking on long distance, but their man or their girlfriend is not already there, is there any advice you could give? I know that for your situation, it was a bit different, but is there anything that you think you did that even made the trust grow?
I just knew that for me and for us, we wanted it to work. And I think it's just really important to be friends with your partner.
I agree.
It's very, very important because when nothing else, that friendship may be the thing that helps you kind of ride the ebb and flows of the relationship. And for me, it was really just like, I enjoy this guy. I enjoy our conversations. We are, the goal is still the same. The mission of our relationship is still the same. He's just a few thousand miles away.
I love that you said you both wanted it because I think it highlights a key part of LDRs, intentionality.
Yes. Oh,
you have to both want it. If one person wants it, the other person doesn't, it's never going to work.
It's just not happening.
You have to really both want it. And the thing you said about friends, I think is so true. Yeah. Where Taiwo and I started with distance, I do think even in our story, that is where there's some overlap, that we are like best friends. Yeah. And I guess it's easier to trust in that sense because your best friend wouldn't hurt you. Like you can't rationalize it when someone is truly your friend. And it's weird, like they're both relationships, but I think the way we evaluate friendships and the way we evaluate romantic relationships are quite different. Yeah. We can imagine romantic partners, unfortunately, hurting us because of all the like rhetoric and all the narratives in media and people's experiences. But when it's like your bestie, that's harder to envisage. So is that even a word? Envision?
Yeah.
Envisage?
Envisage. Yeah.
Okay, good. And I think for me, it does, definitely come back to the friendship thing too, because it's like, I know this person doesn't just love me, they respect me.
Yes.
Like, I mean, that's a big part of love anyway, but not in love in the like futile, like, but the butterfly sense, the surface level sense. Like this person genuinely respects me and care for me. And for that reason, it's easier.
And they respect themselves.
Speak on that, please. They respect themselves. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times as well, when we talk about people cheating, for example, I, for me personally, and it's just my opinion, the people that cheat, they just don't have self-respect. I'm sorry. There's a lack of self-control. There's a lack of just you don't value yourself. I'm sorry, you don't value yourself. And so I had the privilege, and I've had the privilege of being with somebody who respects themselves, right? Who therefore, as a result, respects me and treats me as precious as I am, right? And I respect myself. Yeah. And so even if there was a situation where, God forbid, he went and did something or whatever, like we both knew that I'm not sticking around.
Yeah.
I'm not the girl that sticks around.
Yeah.
I'm really not the girl that sticks around. I grew up, I saw so much with my parents' relationship that was the driving force, and it's very much it's at the foundation of who I am as a person, my morals, my values. And so for me, it was always going to be a thing of like, well, have a great life where you are, and all the best to you, right? So it comes down to that person just also respecting themselves.
One thing about her husband, guys, loves her down. Like, this man loves her so much. You have any conversation with him, he's like, oh yeah, my wife. You know what? You know on like social media, you always see like my man. No, let me tell you, there are men out here who are like my wife.
Absolutely.
And
His
Dammy is one of
Instagram
those
account.
men.
It's like, is this my account or is this
literally?
It's like he's just posting pictures every day. I was like, what picture did you post today?
It's like what do you call it when you have like not like this, not ritual, but you know where you have like a
shrine.
A shrine.
Thank you. It is a shrine to his wife, his Instagram account. But I'm here for it because I feel like more men need to be like that.
Yes.
And I do think that's kind of like how like Taiwo and Dammy got along on social media. I think that's one thing they had in common. And that is like feeling no type of way about loving out loud. Being proud of being a man of quite strong values, especially when it comes to relationship, and also like really valuing the concept of like marriage and a nuclear
Yes.
family and being a good man and a supportive husband, a supportive father. And I think like where they both have that personality type, there was definitely that like mutual understanding and connection there where it's like, okay, you're a good man, I'm a good man.
Let's be friends, get together. Let's be good men together.
Like we exist. now, even though like Dami is a great man, I'm sure that when you were like in your long distance relationship, there must have been periods where there was like conflict or miscommunication or something. Like it's never all roses. How do you manage conflict or miscommunication in a long distance relationship when you're not physically together?
It's so funny. We were actually reading back messages just the other day because we were talking about this conversation today, and there was like he asked me about how my day was going or something, and I replied, and then he didn't reply back immediately, right? And then I was like, I even messaged in caps and I was like, don't ask me how my day is going and then not reply or something like that, right? Something along those lines. And all he replied was, babe, it's been 4 minutes. And I looked at the timestamp.
You
right?
don't mess about.
I was like, it's been 4 minutes, right? But like, and we could laugh about these things, but in the time, I'm sure I was very serious. Like, what do you mean you're not replying to me straight away, right? But in terms of conflicts, the only conflicts that we really had was very much about just maybe not being able to reach each other, and a lot of it came from a place of I just miss you. And I don't really know how else to relay
that.
Yeah, I
relay
would do that all the time, like pick a fight because I missed him.
Yeah,
I can't lie.
wasn't great.
Taiwo, I feel like in the beginning did that.
it's just I just miss you, and so now I just want a reaction from you, kind of thing, right? And then we did start. We would especially during wedding planning. And so I'm even interested in how that's been going, planning the wedding, long distance
wedding
my
planning.
goodness.
Don't get me started.
Because we really, that's where the height of that pressure to do certain things, because we were getting married here in London, right? And so I was doing all of the, the venue hunting.
Oh, that
and
sounds very
all
relatable.
Of that stuff, right?
Very relatable.
I'm having conversations with vendors. I'm finding all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so really, all he was just doing. Okay, how much is that gonna cost?
Oh, that's very relatable.
Okay, fine. How much do I need to send? What's the deposit, right? And so there were certain things, certain times during wedding planning where we would just disagree and just the height of it all. We wanted it to be over and done with, I think. Yeah. And so we'd argue about
little details.
We'll bicker about things that, of course, now being 8 years removed, it's like, what was that even about? Matter. So I honestly can't even pick one grand thing because I've been blessed to really be with somebody who he's just not going to argue with you.
Yeah, he seems very laid back.
He's just not going to argue with me. And early on, that for me was an issue because it's like, what do you mean you're just like react? Like react, sir. What do you mean? Like why he's really that quick to apologize? But then I'm like, well, what are you sorry for? Do you even understand what you're sorry for?
Oh my God, that sounds like me.
What are you sorry for?
When I get a quick sorry, I'm like, okay, and you're sorry for what?
For what? Exactly? I want to know that you know.
Yeah, are you just saying this
exactly to appease
or do you understand why I am annoyed?
Exactly.
I get it. So in those periods, like where you were having those small like periods of bickering, I guess like he is someone that would probably try and rectify the situation quite quickly based on his personality type. Yeah. But do you think that understanding of like the why, because you said that like fundamentally it's because you both missed each other. So do you think it's because you managed it because you understood that it wasn't you and him versus each other, but there was like an issue, which was the distance, and that was what you were mad at?
It's always been me and him against everything else. Okay. We've always navigated our relationship in that way. We've always understood that, okay, if there's tension between us, there is a thing that is causing that tension. Yeah. And so we talk about it. right? He's a kind of person, he knows me so well that he can immediately sense, right? When something is off, when I'm in a bad mood or whatever the case is, he can sense that. And he's the type of person that will just out of the gate be like, is everything okay? Are you all right?
That's
I'm sensing this, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And so for me, it's forced me as well to like not be like, oh, I'm just going to be angry with you today. Like I actually, well, what? Am I okay? Like, what's actually wrong? Why is there a shift in my mood? So it helped a lot that it helps a lot that he's the type of person that he is, because then it means that when we are faced with some kind of issue, it kind of gets resolved pretty quickly. And we tend to get over things quite quickly, and not just get over it where you just kind of sweep it under the rug and hope it never comes back up again, but actually really like, okay, let's talk about what's going on. Let's address it. And sometimes that addressing it may take a couple of days. It may be over, but we know that, okay, this is something that we're going to come back to if we can't find a resolution for it in the moment. So it does definitely help that this is the kind of person that he is. Because then for me, it's just like, oh, okay, I can't just be annoying. I mean, I can if I want to. I can, but then it's like, well, what are you even annoyed about?
Yeah, again, I think that's an area where we relate, like being in relationships with men who are like, what's the word?
Mature.
Yeah, not even mature, but like not even mature as such, because we're mature. We're mature.
I mean, not in comparison to us, of course.
But I mean, like, we are both lovely people, but in the relationships, like, we're the mean ones. Well, not mean ones.
No, we are.
No, we are. Not mean. But this is my theory. I actually think, and I wrote this on social media. I wrote this on my Twitter, and a lot of men were very annoyed at me, right? Gosh. I actually think the relationships that stand the test of time are relationships where the woman is meaner than the man.
Can't lie. I think it's true.
Yeah. Like, and I'm not, okay, mean is not the right word, because I am not mean to Taiwo at all.
No.
He will try and spin this now. He's gonna use this clip against me. I'm not mean to him. But in the sense that, like, the guy is, what's the word? I'm trying to say this in the most euphemistic, articulate, PC way ever. But I just feel like, okay, let me bring it back. But you know how like they say, women, be with a man who loves you more. I think people should love each other equally, right? You should both love each other 100%, right? Give your all to each other. But be with a man who expresses it even more than you do. Love each other the same, but be with a man who wants to express it even more than you. And I say that because as women, I think we've been socialized to express our love. We've been socialized to deliver acts of service. When we love someone, we want to take care of them. We want to cook for them. We want to look after them. We want to gift them. We want to hug them. Women have been socialized to do the absolute most when we are in love, right? So what happens when you're with a man who doesn't love you to the same degree?
Right.
You're doing 110%. My guy's doing 30%. He's doing 50%. He's doing 60%. But when you are, literally. But when you're with a guy who expresses his love even harder than you, then you kind of get to a point where you meet each other at the same level. Because by default, as a woman, you go above and beyond. So when you're with a guy who's willing to go above and above and above and beyond, it's like, okay, it's a good space. We're in a good place. So I think that's one thing we have in common, where our guys like love that little bit harder in a different way.
Very vocal about it.
Yes.
Very expressive. Very much. I always think about that Will Smith picture with Jada, and where he's just
my God, that is literally
if I could, that's what it is. Like it's really that picture of like
being obsessed with your partner.
My partner.
I mean, that's
wife.
probably not the best example.
No. Well, I was gonna put a caveat in there. Not them in their relationship and their marriage. The picture,
just the picture.
Like,
just
ladies,
the
don't be that mean.
No.
What is it like transitioning from long distance relationship to you are everywhere I turn?
Everywhere.
I am living with you. I cannot escape because I think part of the reason why we coped quite well with long distance is we are like eldest daughters, hyper independent.
Yeah.
We do a lot for ourselves, by ourselves, and we're good at like managing ourselves, right? So in a weird way, the LDR kind of satisfies that independence because it's like you're there, and I have all the like good stuff about being in a relationship. Like you're there, and although I might not be physically seeing you, I have someone to talk to you, and that cup is like fulfilled when it comes to like emotional needs being met. But then I also have my independence in that if I don't want to speak to you, I could just put my phone on silent. Like I do not have to speak to you right now. But then when you live with someone, you can't escape them. So how do you go from LDR life to I am living with you life?
Oh my goodness.
How do you cope with that?
I mean, I have to say that for me and for us, because of the time, it was like it's that new thing, right? In the beginning, it's like, oh yeah, no, let's spend all the time together. We spent all this time apart. Let's spend all that time together.
Oh, so you were really loving it in the beginning.
I was loving it. I really was loving it and because also I didn't visit him when he was in Dallas.
Wait. Pause.
I never went.
Hold up.
Yeah. So for the whole 2 years, you didn't
I
go?
never went.
Okay,
Wow.
no. Let me tell you something.
He came back. And then he came back
Wow.
also when we got married, but I never went.
How frequently did he come back?
He came back. So whilst he was working through the visa, he was coming back on the ESTA, right? So he would come back every
90 days or
90
something?
days or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. So he would come back. And then the longest stretch that we went without physically seeing each other was probably about 6 months.
Wow.
6
Okay.
months.
Okay, you guys did very well because, I mean, even though we've done long distance longer than you guys did long distance, everyone on social media knows like every 2 months.
You're getting that flight.
Yeah.
I'm getting that flight.
Yeah.
Or he's coming to London like
Yes.
every 2.5 months. Like we are linking up.
Yeah.
It got so bad. People were like, I swear these people like they need to stop claiming long distance,
Right,
because like they see each other more than I see mine. This guy lives in a different country.
Yeah,
so
no,
that
we
must have
never-
been tough.
It was, which is why I really enjoyed, and he really enjoyed us, spending all that
together.
time and living together. Of course, there were times where even with living together, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, are your shoes gonna be there? Like, I mean, I didn't say it so nicely. Now I'm speaking with my mature, married 8 years kind of voice. Before it was just like, there were times where I pretended to trip over a shoe
just so he could move it.
Throw yourself on the floor.
Just so that he can move, because if he knows that I hurt myself, he's not gonna want to keep it there, right? Like he can just pretend I tripped and be like, "Babe, I tripped over your shoe because it's right there." So like it was those things, but we honestly, we've always had so much fun together, and I always say like, and people, there's this conversation around marriage being hard and work, and you have to toil over it, and I'm like, I don't know, because my marriage has been what we've made it.
That's so refreshing
Like,
to hear.
It's and I think just like anything that's valuable to you, right? You are gonna protect. You're gonna work for it, right? Like, let's not. Working hard for something isn't necessarily bad. If you want to achieve greatness, we say it all the time when it comes to our career, work hard, right? But when it comes to marriage, it's like, oh my gosh, you're working hard for it. But also, it doesn't have to
be that
be
hard.
so hard.
Do you know why that's so beautiful to hear? Because one, obviously, you guys have been married for about 8 years, and you're in your mid-30s. Unfortunately, I saw a lot of people get married in their 20s and it didn't work out, right?
Yes.
So I think like the testament is in the time you've been together from such a young age. But aside from that, you saying that just affirms how close you are, not just as husband and wife, but you said earlier that you are best friends. And I hear it when you talk about your husband, you talk about your marriage, because I'm asking you, I'm like, oh yeah, so how did you manage the conflict and the trust, and how did you get past all these hurdles? And you're like, girl, what hurdles? Like, he is a good man. I trusted him. We spoke through the conflict. Like, it's so nice to sit down with someone who's been married for almost a decade, who is of a similar age to me, and telling me that actually this has been great.
Like, we have so
loved
much
it.
to look forward to. Honestly, like I know that I'm sure somebody's watched this and think, oh my gosh, yeah, she's broke. No, but like truly from the depths of me, like I'm having a lot of fun being married. Like I don't feel that marriage is constricting and it's stopping me from. If anything, being married to Dami has actually really been. It's propelled me. It's the reason we're sitting here having this conversation right now. Like I'd imagine that I would have been a different person.
I'm such a Cancerian.
No,
sorry.
seriously. Like I imagine that I'd be a different person had I married somebody else, you know? And I just think that God has been very intentional about just the man that he has allowed me to be with. I need to teach a photo.
It's okay. Don't mind me.
He's been very intentional. And so I am having such a great time. I'm finally at a place where I'm doing the things that he's always known that I would be doing. And he's always encouraged me to do. And a lot of it has just been like, I'm finally stepping into the woman that he always knew that I'd be, and I've seen him become the man that he is. And not even just like, because potential, we like to throw the word potential around, and again, potential is not a bad thing, but where I am now and where we are in our marriage, it's just like I cannot wait to see what else is on the other side of this time, because we're having such a great time. We're raising our kids and they are incredible little people. And when it comes to just pursuing things, like we are each other's biggest cheerleaders.
You need to watch out. He's going to give you kid number 4 after this video.
No. I don't even watch out.
So my last question for you is that I imagine people are going to be hearing this and they're going to be like, damn, like, that's great for you, but I'm really struggling with long distance. And it sounded like you had your struggles, but for the most part, you were built for it. He was built for it. And your characters made it super, super easy for you guys to manage it. But for the people listening who are like, I'm in a long distance relationship, I'm really struggling with the distance. What can I do?
I mean, do what Toni and Tone are doing. Travel to each other if you can. Don't do what I did, because it definitely it was hard. It's hard to miss your partner in that way.
Regular trips.
Regular trips will be great if you can afford to do that. Do that. But also think about the bigger picture. Right? For us, we always knew we were going to get married. Granted, I didn't know when, but he proposed within 6 months of moving to the States. We had something to look forward to. We knew that we wanted to get married within a year or so of getting engaged, and we knew that I was going to move over there. We knew all of that stuff. Travel to each other as often as possible and think about the bigger picture. Think about the end goal.
I completely agree. I think that intentionality is the main thing a lot of people lack when long distance relationships don't work out. Like you can communicate every single day. You could even see each other every single week. But if you're not intentional about your end goal and being on the same page, then it will never work. Aurélie, you have been an amazing guest. Thank you so much. It's been lovely to have you. I appreciate your vulnerability and your willingness to open up and be transparent, especially in a time where a lot of people are and I understand like privacy is important for a lot of people, but unfortunately, like the loud voices and the loud stories are the bad stories, right? And we don't often hear people with great stories speak up about it. So thank you for being vulnerable and open and speaking up about it.
We need more of it.
We do. We definitely do. As you know, to wrap up every episode, I end with some positive words. I think so much has been said that is of value in this episode. But one thing that I wanted to address was that if you do want to embark on long distance, I think a crucial part of it, for a lot of the women listening anyway, is to find a partner that is as intentional about you as you are about them. I think that's super important. Looking at other relationships that have been long distance, either work or fail, one thing I've observed in the ones that work, like in cis hetero relationships anyway, the men love these women down. The distance means absolutely nothing when compared with the degree of love and care and respect they have for their partner. And that's a big reason why it works, right? And I think that, again, not to speak on the socialization of women, but we've been socialized to give relationships our all. So for many women who enter long distance relationships, we will find a way to make it work, because society has told us, when you love someone, that's what you do. You make it work. And unfortunately, men have been socialized quite differently in that they're told, like, have options and don't be locked down, and sex is important. Physical intimacy is important. And a lot of the messaging that is relayed to men is like the antithesis of the kind of messaging you need to make a long distance relationship work. And I think in your relationship, whether you're in one now or you're thinking about getting in one now, evaluate the kind of person you're getting in a relationship with. Like Aurélie said in the podcast, be with someone who respects not just you, but also themselves. And that shows up in their character. So yeah, that's really important. So consider that in your long distance relationship. That is all from me. I hope you loved the episode. Please share, please subscribe, please comment, please point your friends towards it, and make sure you follow us on social media at Toni Told Me Pod.